This is TWiT. All right, I want to talk a little bit about the Eero. I should give you a disclaimer, as we always do up front. Whenever we're talking about an advertiser, Eero is a sponsor of some of our shows. They still are, I think. I first experienced an Eero when they sent me a review unit, and I didn't get it working. I was really disappointed. They were one of the first to do this mesh routing system. I got another unit, got it working, and frankly, I never want to go back. I have tried every router system in the world. And Eero, in fact, I liked it so much I got it for my mom as well in her place back east. We set it, when I visited her, I set it all up. Well, Eero has updated their Eeros. This is the new Eero, and they call it, I guess, Eero Pro. The base unit looks the same, but inside it is now 2x2 MIMO, more antennas, and tri-band. So that means they've got the 2.4 gigahertz and two 5 gigahertz. And I think for most homes, that's a big improvement because 2.4 gigahertz is so congested. Your neighbors are using it, your Sonos is using it, your microwave oven's at 2.4 gigahertz. So 2.4 is a mess for a lot of people.
If you're connecting to this, do you have to specifically on your device
choose
the 5 gigahertz? No, you don't have to do
anything. That's the beauty part of mesh. All you do is you set up by connecting the base unit, which is going to be the larger unit if you get the new system, to your cable modem or DSL modem. And then you'll put these Eero beacons throughout the house. Now, how many you use depends on how big your place is. They say about 1,500 square feet per. The Eero beacons are not tri-band, they're dual band. But that's fine. There's still one 5 gigahertz, one 2.4. And they plug in right into the wall, so they're very compact. They have one other feature which I really like. They have a nightlight that lights up the hall. So I have
you're
these
plugging
in the
it
hall.
in, it might as well be a nightlight.
Yeah, so it's nice. I mean, you can turn it off if you don't want a nightlight, if you have those in your bedroom or something.
Did you miss not having Wi-Fi on the beacon? Or sorry, not Wi-Fi, Ethernet.
Ethernet, yeah. So that's one thing you should know. If you do want to have Ethernet, you're going to need to get 3 of these or 2 of the bigger ones because they have Ethernet in and Ethernet out. With Eeros, it's kind of interesting. There's one of the few mesh systems that allows you. So some people, Stacy Higginbotham's example, she wired her house, so she has Ethernet in multiple rooms. With these base units, you can connect them in every place that they can get to Ethernet, and that will improve your throughput on the Eeros, even though it's the same network, because they can use the Ethernet as a backhaul. That's one of the problems in general with Wi-Fi, and we've talked to Jim Salter about this on the show a couple of times, you probably remember, is when you're using a Wi-Fi extender or a mesh system, you have to somehow have a backhaul so that these extra units can connect to the main unit. And having tri-band makes the backhaul, I think, a little bit more effective. Eero claims double the speed. I have to say, I've had a lot better reliability, and the range has gone up a lot. I had a trouble in our house with the older Eeros. I had to get more than 3 units, a base station and 2 beacons is more than enough throughout the house. We get great connectivity. So I'm very happy with these. So to recap, we've got dual 2x2 MIMO beamforming antennas in the base unit, tri-band. The beacons plug into the wall. They do not have an Ethernet port, and they're dual band. And you get a 10 lumen LED nightlight with automated dimming. It's nice. It turns on when it gets dark, turns off when the sun comes out.
That's great.
Now, the other thing Eero's added, and I have to say, all the mesh systems are doing this. They're increasing. This is one of the advantages of mesh, is unlike traditional routers, the mesh companies seem to be paying more attention to keeping the firmware up to date. I get Eero updates all the time, and keeping their software up to date. In fact, why don't I AirPlay this so you can, I think I am AirPlaying it. You should be able to see my iPad. This is the new Eero Plus software, and they've added some nice features. If you used the Eero before, you could see, well, notice, by the way, it's saying, check gym. Look, the gym is out. You know why it's out? It's here. I unplugged it.
I thought this looked like a gym.
I unplugged it.
World's smallest gym.
This is in the hall by the gym. So, but that's nice, right? You know, if one of your Eeros not working, you get a warning right away. It shows you all the devices that are connected, and the 3 most recently connected up at the top, and then you can get all the rest of them there. It also measures bandwidth. So this is the current bandwidth of the system. And most internet service providers, the bandwidth goes up and down. So it's kind of nice that it does these periodic bandwidth checks. But the biggest new feature in the Eero Plus, and I'll have to go to, let's see, I can't remember where this is. I'm going to think it's in network settings, is this Eero Plus feature. This is network security. You can turn it on or you can leave it off. but it's going to filter. Nowadays, this is so useful. Phishing sites, it's going to filter viruses, it's going to filter out ransomware. And I have to say, I love this idea. Sometimes people use, OpenDNS for this kind of thing. You also get some control. You can have built-in protection against, with Eero Plus, against adult sites, violent sites, gambling sites. And the Eero has always allowed you to name devices, to assign devices to a name. So for instance, our kid, Michael, when his iPad's assigned to him, his iPhone's assigned to him, and I can have the different security settings.
For each device?
For each device.
That's really nice.
Even more than that for each person. So I put each device into a single person, right? And then I can say granularly, by person, I can say, this is also nice. I can also turn off his Wi-Fi by saying, Echo, pause Michael's Wi-Fi.
It's time to go to bed.
Very
Michael.
Handy at about 10 o'clock at night. Pause Michael's Wi-Fi. I love that. So I have to say, Eero, which I've always liked and I'm very happy with, and I've used them since practically the very beginning, has made some significant improvements with this new Eero Plus. They haven't increased the cost, I don't think. It is still $2.99 for one base station and one beacon, $3.99 for a base station and two beacons. The beacons themselves sell individually for $149. That's probably how you would extend your Eero, although you can extend it by adding more base stations. 3 base stations, $4.99. These are, I think the price is right, and man, you do get a great benefit. The Pro security costs additional $10 a month. I just bought a year of it for $99. I thought that was fairly affordable and a good price.
One question I have about this is about Thread. I noticed that it supports Thread as an IoT standard. What is Thread?
Well, you probably know more than I do. That's Google's kind of IoT, part of Weave and Thread, and what's the other one? I don't know of any devices that use it.
That was what I was wondering.
So it's kind of forward-looking,
somewhat future-proofed in that regard.
Yeah.
Once those devices start to hit the market.
Let's see what else I can show you. I mean, it shows you the connectivity on every device. I mean, they really do a nice job in the software. And what I really like is that they're always updating the software. They're always adding new features. So that's another selling point on all these mesh systems.
There's Michael's iPad. Sorry.
Yeah, you see it, right? And if I wanted to, I could knock it right off. I could just take that right off. You see, I've added it to a profile called Michael, so I can control Michael's security settings independently of the rest of the household. I think this is a fabulous tool. Anyway, so look at that, block from network. Just block that on the network. Just don't let that on the network.
But you don't want. But then he's going to call in like 2 minutes.
No, I know. I'm not going to do that. But it is true that if you saw something rogue, something weird, you said, "What is that?" You could block it from the network.
Right. Is there any way to prioritize devices, especially in houses where you have like a lot of different devices?
All of the mesh systems claim they do it for you. So all of the mesh systems, and Eero was one of the first to say this, is that they're monitoring the network. They know about different devices. They know what a Roku is, what an Apple TV is.
What they're capable of. And
what they're capable of. And they will do things like move them to a different band or a different frequency as appropriate. If they figure, oh, we're seeing a lot of throughput on the Apple TV, we want to make sure you're going to get good performance there. We're going to move that to 5 gigahertz and move something else off.
Right.
In theory, and it's very hard for an end user to know whether they're actually doing this, in theory, they're doing that all automatically. You don't have to think about it. All I can vouch for is it works, and it works really well.
That's the most important part.
Yeah, we're very happy with it. And we'll have to ask somebody like Jim Salter to give us a little bit more analysis. You need some, I think, some sophisticated hardware to figure that out. You can run a speed test on your own, but it also runs speed tests automatically. I'm very happy with this. As you know, I have in my house 2 networks. I don't know why, because Comcast, that's why. And I have tried all of the mesh systems. I've gone through every one of them. Currently using Plume on one network and Eero on the other. By the way, that's probably not recommended because they're going to interfere with each other in the same room. I haven't had any problem. I am most impressed with the Eero. I think this is this is most improved for 2017, the Eero Plus, and definitely recommend it if you're having trouble with
I have a Google Wi-Fi at home. That's what I've been using.
How do you like that? Because that's the one I thought was the worst.
I mean, I haven't had much experience with mesh.
So you don't know.
Otherwise, but I do know that it was a huge improvement over what I had before, which was a single router in our living room.
I think it's safe to say that all of these mesh systems are going to be better than just a single router. In anything that's bigger than, say, a one-bedroom apartment, you know, my daughter has a one-bedroom apartment. She's got my Google Home. I gave it to her, Google Wi-Fi, and she uses it, and it's fine for her because it's a small area and so forth. You know, we got a bunch of them. You should give it a try.
All right. I will definitely check it out.
I will lend you some other ones. You can even borrow the Eero. I think they're going to send you one, actually, because I think they want you to use it for the next time you do an ad. Thank you, Eero.